Alright guys, in this video we'll be looking at the midpoint. As you can see here on my graph, I've got a line segment. I've got the line segment AB. Notice that point A is at the point -7, -6, and we also got point B at 5, 8. So what I want to do is find the midpoint of this line segment. I want to know where is the center of this line segment. What would the ordered pair be for that point in the center of AB? When we want to find the center, basically what we want to do is find the average of the x's, and then we also want to find the average of the y's, and that should give us the point that's at the center of AB. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the x values. So I'm looking at this x value and this x value here. What I want to do is average those two together. So to average, we're going to add the -7 and the 5, then we'll divide by 2. Alright, that's because those are the two numbers that I'm adding. So let's see here. -7 plus 5 would be a -2. Then if I divide that -2 by a +2, -2 divided by +2 would give me a -1. So the x value for our midpoint is going to be at -1. However, I must also find the y value. So what we're going to do is basically the same thing. This time we're looking at the y's. We got an 8 and a -6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two numbers, 8 add a -6, divide by 2, because those are the two numbers that we're adding together. It's two numbers. So if I add 8 plus a -6, I get a +2. And 2 divided by 2 would give me a 1. So the y value on our midpoint is going to be at +1. So what we end up with is an ordered pair. And that ordered pair is -1, +1. That would be right here. So in other words, this point right here, -1, +1, would be at the center of our line segment AB. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at another example. I've got a different line segment here. I've got line segment AB. Notice that point A is at -7, -3, and point B is at 5, 5. And once again, we want to find where's the center of the line segment. What's the ordered pair? So we're going to start by finding the x value. And the way we're going to find the x value is taking the average of the two x's that we're given. So I'm going to take this x and this x. We're going to add them up and divide by 2, because that's how you find the average. So we got 5 plus -7, then we'll divide by 2. So let's see here. 5 plus a -7 would be a -2, and a -2 divided by a +2 would be a -1. So the x value of our midpoint is going to be at -1. However, we still need to find the y value as well. So we're going to do pretty much the same, except this time we're going to use the y values. So we're going to add 5 plus the -3. Those are the two y values. So if we add those two y values up, 5 plus a -3 would be a +2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. So the y value in this ordered pair is going to be 1. So we end up with this ordered pair, -1, +1, which is right here, which means that our center of this line segment is at -1, +1. So again, all we're doing to find the x and y values are averaging the x's and averaging the y's. Adding them up, divide by 2. Add the y's, divide by 2. Alright, so let's go ahead and summarize the findings that we just found out about our midpoint. Once again, in order to find the midpoint of a line segment, all we had to do was find the average of the x values, find the average of the y values. So in other words, instead of numbers, notice this time I'm using x1, y1 to describe point A. I'm using x2, y2 to describe point B. So once again, to find the midpoint, all I did was take the two x values, x1 and x2, add them up, divide by 2. Once I do that, then I did the same thing with the y values. I take the first y value, added with the second y value, and then divided by 2. So this is how we find the midpoints of our line segment. Once again, all we're doing is averaging the x's and then averaging the y's. Add the x's, divide by 2. Add the y's, divide by 2. So the truth is we don't even need the graph. All we need are the ordered pairs for each of the points in order to find the midpoint, which we'll look at an example here next. Alright, so let's try an example without the graph. What I'm given here are 2 points, 2 ordered pairs. I've got the first ordered pair 8, 10, and I've got the second ordered pair negative 6, 4. And what we're looking for is the midpoint of these 2 points, or these 2 ordered pairs. So I'm just going to repeat the process that I did with the first couple of examples. We're going to start by taking the 2 x values, that would be the 8 and the negative 6, and we're going to divide by 2. So let's start there. Let's add them up, divide by 2. So if I add 8 plus a negative 6, that gives me 2. And 2 divided by 2 would give me a 1. So the x value is going to be a 1. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing with the y values. We're going to take the 2 y values. The first y value is 10. We're going to add the second y value, which is 4. And then we'll divide it by 2. So let's see here, 10 plus 4. 10 plus 4 is 14. 14 divided by 2 would be a 7. So the y value would be a 7, which means we end up with this ordered pair right here, 1, 7. So the midpoint, given those 2 points, 8, 10, and negative 6, 4, would be at 1, 7.